There's so many people that are struggling, working hard every single day, earning a living to get to one Bitcoin. I want to applaud every single one of you because that's extremely important. That's what you need to do for your life. Ultimately, our goal is to exchange our physical labor for financial currency, energy, right? We exchange our physical energy, which is our labor, for our financial energy, which is our currency. And then our job is to maintain the value of that energy into the future so we can spend it at a later date. The fiat system is designed to tell you to go against your human instinct. It's designed to tell you that the labor that you have, that you converted into financial currency or monetary energy, is not valuable. Therefore, you should spend it. It's here to tell you that whatever impulse you have to buy and spend, you should take it. That's not natural human instinct. We have been scouring the earth and accumulating resources for use by future generations for since the dawn of humanity. You don't think that that is inside every cell of every human being, of every DNA strand of every human being? That is the human spirit. And that's what Bitcoin speaks to. Bitcoin speaks to the human spirit. And I want to tell you that you got one chance in human history. That's the rarity of this asset. That is the rarity of this asset. We got one chance in human history. No matter how many people are born in the future, no matter how many people die, no matter how much wealth is passed down to future generations, you have one chance in human history to get to one Bitcoin. Because there's 8 billion people, whatever it is, on the earth, 9 billion people on the earth. There are 55 million millionaires on this planet, and there is only 21 million Bitcoin. And as of today, the Bitcoin ETFs have a combined holding of 648,358 Bitcoin. 648,358 Bitcoin. And I'm talking about combined. GBTC is as important to me as the other new ETFs. It is essential, in my opinion, that you monitor all the ETFs and we look at the whole ETF market as a snapshot rather than just, BlackRock or just Fidelity or just, the new ones that have been issued. So let's talk about this. GBTC started off with 619,000 Bitcoin under ETF institutional control. And so today we see 648,358 Bitcoin that have now, as of today, been acquired and are controlled by these ETFs. So what does that mean? It means within 15 trading sessions, these ETFs have acquired 29,358 Bitcoin to put on their holding sheet, right? That means that based on a per trading session basis, these ETFs are sucking up a net, despite what anyone's telling you, they're sucking up a net 1,957 Bitcoin per trading session. That's 1,957 people that will be denied from being whole coiners every single trading session that's going on right now. This is a phenomenal level of demand that Bitcoin has not experienced yet. This is brand new for Bitcoin. It's brand new for Bitcoiners. We have never seen this amount of relentless buying, and I believe that it's going to continue, and I believe it's going to get stronger. You're looking at what, $60-70 million a day? What happens once the halving kicks in? Right now, the half of that daily supply is basically new mined Bitcoin, right? 900 Bitcoin a day, about half. Right? Once the halving kicks in 76 days or 54 trading sessions, there's only 450 Bitcoin, which means the ETFs, even if they just continue the current acquisition pace that they're doing, they're now buying 4 times the daily issued supply. That's without more capital coming in, without more selling going on, without more anything. So I wanted to give you an update on what's going on with these ETFs. A supply shock is building up here, right? Now, assuming that the pace continues as is, assuming that no extra demand comes in, assuming that all of it, everything stays the same, that means that the ETFs need to acquire, or will acquire based on this trend, 105,678 Bitcoin by the halving, which is like 54 trading sessions away. And if we stretch this out to the year, to just 2024, these ETFs have to acquire 465,766 Bitcoin by the end of 2024. I think there's like 240 trading sessions left for 2024. The ETF buying has been absolutely relentless here. And what this means is that the type of buyer, as I've been saying for a while, the type of buyer that's buying through the ETFs now is a long-term holder. These are people looking for long-term positions of their portfolio in Bitcoin. They're not traders. They're not coming in trying to go, oh, maybe I should buy this because there's an arb opportunity on GBTC. These are long-term holders that are buying these ETFs, and these ETFs are out here controlling and trying to basically corner the market. And the difference between the gold market, the silver market, and the Bitcoin market is that you can actually corner the Bitcoin market because there's a limited supply. With silver, what you couldn't control, you couldn't corner the market as the Hunt brothers tried to, because there was manipulative things that I could do to affect the supply of silver. I can issue a bunch of permits to mine silver. As the price goes up, more silver can be, suddenly more silver can come out of the sky, and you can actually just create silver supply. And then the markets would turn around and they said, okay, you can't actually buy any more silver, but the sell orders were open, right? When it came to what the Hunt brothers did. But with Bitcoin, if the ETF demand is this high and they say the ETFs can't buy Bitcoin for whatever reason, let's say the price is moving crazy, it's wild, they try and control that. There's no market limit things that you can do with Bitcoin, because I can go buy Bitcoin on Coinbase. Right? I can go buy Bitcoin on any other exchange. I can go buy Bitcoin on the street. I can buy Bitcoin anywhere in the world at any moment in time. So there's nothing you can do to control the volatility on Bitcoin once it starts getting going. But this is extremely important. This is the guts of it. I don't care what anyone else is saying about getting excited about what BlackRock is doing, Fidelity is doing. I like looking at the market snapshot as a whole. I want to know what's going on as a whole. And the ETF is a market to me. The ETF is a funnel. It's an entry funnel into Bitcoin. So I want to look at the whole thing. And based on the whole thing, within 15 trading sessions, they've acquired 29,358 Bitcoin. That means 1,957 Bitcoin a day are being sucked up by these ETFs, which means that if this pace continues, doesn't increase, no new demand comes in, just maintains this. And also bear in mind, this also assumes that the price stays the same, right? And the price will adjust based on the available supply. But based on this, they're going to buy 105,678 Bitcoin within the next 54 trading sessions, 76 days. And they're going to buy 465,766 Bitcoin by the end of 2024, based on the current demand. I just saw something from the CIO of Bitwise, and he said there's been $700 million in net inflows this week into Bitcoin just through the ETFs. That means we're on pace to add like $1 billion into Bitcoin every single week through these ETFs, right? Now, of course, it has to continue. There's a lot of ifs there, but it's also, while there's ifs on the demand remaining, there's also, we're not including the increased demand that's coming. BlackRock is out here publishing and advertising Bitcoin on the side of Wall Street buildings at this point in time. There's no way that you can just keep sucking up 2,000 Bitcoin a day and not have a supply issue at some point, right? That's happening. It's building up. The cap markets are rotating. At the same time, you got Federal Reserve Chairman coming out and basically saying, hey, yeah, we're going to start talking about, lowering rates pretty much, but when the data's right. What else did you expect him to say, right? He said exactly what I thought he was going to say, which is maintain his position from the last press conference, which was basically rate hold, slightly dovish. And so that's what's going on here. And I think that if you're sitting here and you're going, hey, maybe do I need to learn about Bitcoin now? I've heard BlackRock talk about it. I've heard Fidelity talk about it. Do I need to actually learn about this thing? I would say you need to get off your ass and start learning about what Bitcoin is if you haven't started learning about it yet. If you haven't started realizing that 2,000 Bitcoin a day are flying into ETFs, net. Not gross, net. This is inclusive of GBTC outflows here, right? So again, the entire market snapshot is important to me. Time is running out. There's, we keep saying that and people go, oh my God, well, is time actually going to run out? The price of Bitcoin went from 25,000 up to 45,000, 49,000 just with the ETF launch process coming in. Now there's been a dump of supply onto the market, and it's being chewed up at 2,000 Bitcoin a day at this point. And this is assuming that it doesn't accelerate. So this is getting really serious now. Like, if you haven't gotten to your 1 Bitcoin yet, if you haven't acquired the amount of Bitcoin that you want to acquire, now is the time to stay focused, start acquiring, and keep relentless on that, because one day you're going to wake up and there's just going to be this crash between the ETF demand and the lack of supply on the market. So this is the time to take this seriously, and that is the ETF update for the first 15 trading sessions, and it's quite remarkable. If we had thought that ETFs would be sucking up 2,000 Bitcoin a day like clockwork, I don't think many people would have thought that for this long, including the Bloomberg guys, because they've been saying, the amount of inflows here is ridiculous. In any other product, this would have been an earth-shattering thing, but Bitcoiners are disappointed with the fact that these ETFs are acquiring 29,358 Bitcoin over 15 trading sessions. So pay attention to what's going on here. The underbelly of the market is shifting right below your feet. And if you haven't got to your Bitcoin allocation yet, you seriously need to think about it, because price is going to start moving up as soon as this supply gets chewed up. And it's not going to take long for this supply to get chewed up if we're sucking in 1,957 Bitcoin a day net into these ETFs. What happens when GBTC outflows just stop? And at some point, I think you're going to start seeing GBTC inflows because of the volumes, the derivatives products, and everything else that can come on top of GBTC being the biggest asset holder in the space. So again, look at the entire market as a snapshot. And when you look at the entire market as a snapshot, your time is running out. 2,000 Bitcoin a day are being sucked up into these ETFs, and you need to get your together if you plan to acquire the amount of Bitcoin that you want to acquire, and you need to take the time to learn about it. But ultimately, despite all of this, whether you do that or not, whether you take the time to learn about it or not, the ETFs are sucking up 1,957 Bitcoin a day, and one day is going to come soon where that Bitcoin just crashes into that demand cycle and the price starts shooting up, and then you can no longer achieve the amount of Bitcoin that you wanted to achieve. But ultimately, there are always only 3 rules to Bitcoin. Step number 1, you buy Bitcoin. Step number 2, shut the up. And step number 3, you get fabulously wealthy.